Alright, hey guys, I'm Tony. I'm a first year medical student at the University of Melbourne. I'm also pretty broke, so I'm trying to make some YouTube money by sharing my experience studying med at Melbourne Uni. Now, I know that for some of you guys who are watching this and who want to do med at Melbourne, GAMSAT is fast approaching. So this is the perfect video to kind of procrastinate to. And if you found what I said, really motivating and you end up smashing your GAMSAT, what can I say? You're welcome. Alright, so a bit about me. I am originally from Perth, so I graduated from Perth Modern School in 2015. And after that, I came to Melbourne to study biomedicine at the University of Melbourne. So I did that for 3 years. In my third year in biomed, I did the human structure and function major, and then now I'm doing med. Now you may be wondering, what is first year med like at Melbourne Uni? Well, in my personal opinion, it is quite full on, but it's also a lot of fun. So I am currently in week 7 of my first semester, and I'll show you guys a screenshot of my timetable for this week. So as you can see, we have lectures on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Typically, there are 12 lectures a week, sometimes a bit less than that. And how lectures are normally structured is that on days that we have lectures, we will have 2 lectures back to back, have 1 hour break, and then another 2 lectures back to back. You may also notice that each week we have quite a few pracs, and we also have 2 types of tutorials. So one is called a CSL tutorial, and the other is a PCP tutorial. And I'll quickly go over what those words mean in a second. You might be wondering what's the quality of the lectures, and to be completely honest, and I'm not paid by the uni for making this video, so I'm just going to be completely honest. I wouldn't say that the lectures are significantly better in quality compared to my undergrad degree at Melbourne Uni. I would say that some lecturers were terrific. For example, today we had a radiologist from the Royal Melbourne Hospital coming today, Dr. John Bui, I believe, and his lectures were simply amazing. Like, he showed us a bunch of slides of CT scans and X-ray scans, and just the way he explained everything was super interesting and engaging. But I've also had lecturers who were just quite, who seem to not care a lot about what they are teaching. So I guess at the end of the day, it's really kind of up to you to kind of take the initiative and learn your content rather than expecting amazing lecturers who's gonna make everything super engaging. So that's what I have to say about lectures. In terms of the workload, I would say MD1 is quite full on. I would say it's definitely more full on than my undergrad degree of biomed, and that sometimes you will find that it's really hard to make notes for every single lecture. For example, today, so now I'm just finished Thursday of week 7. So by the end of today, we have already covered 67 lectures, and obviously it's very, very difficult to make really kind of detailed notes for every lecture. So what a lot of my friends and myself are doing is we started using OneNote a lot. And if you are a pen and paper person in your undergrad, you might find that you have to switch up your study techniques just because there's so much content, and it's really hard to pen and paper everything. So what most people around me are doing is just annotating their slides. When they're in a lecture, you type up your notes on the slides, and then afterwards you quickly summarize the learning objectives, and like that's really all you have time for. So that's kind of the workload covered. Now, I mentioned before that there are two types of special tutorials. There's your PCP and your CSL. So let's talk about CSL first. CSL stands for Case Supported Learning, and every week we start our Monday with a CSL tutorial, and what happens is we'll be introduced to a case, often a fictional case, but the case will, for example, if this week we are studying heart valve diseases, then in our case in CSL, we will have a patient who comes into the doctor with, say, several presenting symptoms that you will find in patients with heart valve disease. So that kind of frames our learning for the entire week. And so when we leave our CSL, we'll leave with a bunch of questions, like, for example, what's the mechanism for heart valve disease? How would that look different from, say, like a respiratory disease or whatever? So it really frames your learning for the entire week, which I think is a great idea. And then at the end of the week, after you have done your 10, 11, 12 lectures, you end the week with another CSL tute on Friday, and on this second CSL tute of the week, you have compiled all your understandings from your lectures, and then you're able to kind of essentially solve the case. So I find that a really interesting way to kind of learn. And each CSL tute, you are assigned a tutor. My tutor is lovely. I've heard great things about other CSL tutors, so it's a really kind of good format that Melbourne Uni uses. I'm not too sure if other medical schools are doing the same thing, but yeah, so that's CSL. Now onto PCP. So PCP stands for Principles of Clinical Practice, and it's a class where you learn the communicational skills that you will require to interact with your patients. So to kind of expand on that, so far in PCP we have learned how to take history from your patients, and as well as how to perform a cardiac examination. In my opinion, PCP is one of the most interesting as well as rewarding aspect of the MD1 degree at Melbourne Uni. It's great and all to have kind of textbook knowledge, to know all the amino acids, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, if you can't communicate effectively with your patient and get your point across, or even if you don't know how to gather all the information that you need to make a correct diagnosis, then you're not a very good doctor. So yeah, PCP is great. I've heard really wonderful things about all the tutors. My PCP tutor, Dave, he's just one of the most kind and intelligent person that you'll meet. So yeah, and this week we had simulated patients. So they're essentially actors who are given a script, but they play the role of a patient, and we had them coming in this week into our PCP tutes, and it was just really interesting, kind of applying the things we have learned, kind of in our tutes and actually trying them out. on a simulated patient. So easily my favorite part of the MD1 degree so far. And now lastly, I guess to finish off, I'd like to talk a bit about the MD1 cohort. So coming from biomedicine, which is quite a competitive undergrad degree, it's really refreshing to see how much the students in med are willing to help each other. I guess, that's partly due to the fact that once you make it into med, it's less about ranking and just more about passing and surviving. But there is a real kind of vibe of, you know, just everyone helping out each other. So already I remember I was maybe, first week into med, we had MD2 kids reaching out to us and giving us all their notes and resources that they gathered, during their years, which, I'm sure they've also received help from the year above. And we also have peer tutoring sessions where MD2 give up their time every week to come in and tutor us, or give us help on content that we're struggling with, which I think is great. The cohort as a whole is super friendly. I would say it's a lot easier to just go up to a random person in your lecture and strike up a conversation with them. Everyone is a lot more open and kind, I would say. And yeah, I'm really enjoying the cohort. I think there's quite a healthy kind of atmosphere amongst the students, which I think is great. And hopefully, that's gonna motivate you to study hard for your GAMSAT, ACE, or interview. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions or any feedback for me, make sure to just drop the comments below. Other than that, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if this video proves to be popular, I'll make sure to upload some future content. Ciao.